Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today on the Workplace Minute, we dive into the state of holiday seasonal hiring in the U.S., who's hiring, how much they're hiring this year, and what a cooler season could signal for 2026. And we'll also talk about how seasonal workers can actually stick as permanent workers, and close with some tips to make your seasonal hiring a better long-term talent outcome. Let's break it down. Holiday seasonal hiring has long been concentrated in a few industries: retail, like big box stores, specialty chains, and department stores, plus transportation and warehousing, like parcel carriers and fulfillment networks. In a typical year, retail ramps up headcount in October and November, then unwinds some of those gains in January and February. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated retail payrolls rose by about 495,000 from October to December of 2023. Say that's stronger than it was in prior years, and a reminder that holiday hiring is a significant economic event, not just a store-level choice. Now the more recent trend line. Signs have been pointing to a cooler 2025 peak. Challenger, Gray, and Christmas projects retailers will add fewer than 500,000 seasonal jobs in Q4, and that's on pace to be the smallest seasonal gain since 2009. They also note that the overall public hiring announcements are the weakest year to date since the Great Recession, with muted seasonal plans the big reason why. Add to that a cautious retail environment given slower consumer growth, uncertainty around the tariffs, and you'll get a season that's later, leaner, and more targeted than the post-pandemic years. So what's happening right now for holiday season 2025? Let's see what some of the bigger players have announced. Amazon, still the outlier, did announce it would hire 250,000 U.S. workers across fulfillment and transportation, which matches its 2024 levels. Average advertised wages are over $19 for seasonal roles and $23 per hour with benefits for regular roles. And regionally, you'll see large additions in states like Texas and New York. So that steady 250,000 employees underscores how e-commerce and logistics continue to anchor peak holiday staffing, as many traditional retailers are treading more carefully. In the big box retail world, it's more mixed. Target has leaned into giving more hours to its existing associates and tapping its 43,000 on-demand workers rather than publishing a big seasonal headcount hiring number. That's emblematic of the just-in-time approach we're seeing. Walmart messaging this year similarly emphasizes more hours for current employees versus big, splashy external hiring targets. And department stores like Macy's are recruiting seasonal associates across their stores and their supply chain, but without the blockbuster hiring totals we saw in some of the pre-pandemic years. And specialty chains are selectively adding workers. Bath & Body Works said it's hiring more than 30,000 seasonal roles across North America. Now in transportation, the U.S. Postal Service plans to bring on roughly 14,000 seasonal employees. And that's down from prior years, in part because they've converted more pre-career workers to full-time workers. In UPS, after a year of very heavy restructuring and 48,000 job cuts, is signaling a leaner peak than in 2024, even as it says it's prepared for the holiday volume. So taken together, though, we see these parcel carriers are relying more on automation and network redesign, with many fewer seasonal hires than during their boom years. So if we zoom out, several data points are combining here. Fewer large and earlier hiring announcements, more reliance on internal hours and internal staff, more agile hiring closer to spikes in demand, and a tilt toward logistics roles that directly protect speed and promise state performance. Challenger's forecast of fewer than 500,000 seasonal retail jobs fits with that overall story. So what could a reduction in seasonal hiring mean for the economy as we head into 2026? Well, first, seasonal jobs are often a cash flow opportunity for households in Q4. When retailers pull back, it dents supplemental income opportunities precisely when people's expenses often rise. And experts warn that a lighter seasonal rift can ripple into softer January consumer numbers. Second, a slower peak can mask continued labor market weakness. The hiring lab at Indeed recently found job seeker interest in seasonal work was up 27% year over year at the end of September, but seasonal job postings were up only 3%. And that's a wide gap that suggests workers want the hours more than employers want the headcount. That imbalance may temper wage pressure, but it doesn't eliminate staffing risk during surges in demand. And third, the transportation industry matters. USPS smaller seasonal hiring and UPS's restructuring reinforce the big shifts we see, more throughput via technology and not additional workers, a theme we'll keep watching into 2026. It's interesting to note that seasonal jobs can often turn into permanent ones. It does vary widely by employer and by role, but there are some bright spots. One, for example, is the store Michaels. They reported that more than half of their 2024 seasonal hires converted to regular roles. So that's useful context for retailers who position seasonal programs as talent funnels rather than just temporary help. Other firms have had similar success stories. When designed as talent pipelines, seasonal programs can become efficient feeders for year-round staffing. So what should HR leaders be thinking about this season? First, think about seasonal hiring as a pipeline for future needs. Design a fast path for your top seasonal performers to convert to permanent roles by mid-January and make their process simpler for application, offer letters, and onboarding. If Michaels can convert half of their seasonal workers in some years, your organization can too. Second, rebalance towards hours and skills. If you're following Target's model of giving more hours to your current staff, pair those hours with targeted cross-training in other opportunities like fulfillment, working in the front of the store, or interns. That preserves service level and builds more skill flexibility into the new year. Third, you must compress your hiring cycle. If your announcements are going to come later and your hiring is going to come closer to surges in demand, then your process must be shorter. You can take inspiration from Macy's with their mobile-friendly applications, pre-recorded interviews, and same-day offers at in-store events. And keep your background checks and your I-9 compliance tight. Next, make retention part of the job offer. Spell out conversion bonuses for seasonal employees who can accept regular roles by February 1st, things like early education stipends, and other benefits that can apply to convert more of your best seasonal workers into full-time workers. And finally, maintain the human touch. Even while you're optimizing hours for existing workers, give your seasonal associates some agency, whether that's through a shift marketplace, more predictable scheduling, or more incentives for high-demand days. The data suggests workers want seasonal hours, and the winning organizations will make those hours predictable and purposeful. Bottom line, holiday season 2025 looks cooler and more cautious than the post-pandemic years. Amazon is steady, but many retailers are much more focused. Transportation carriers are leaner, but workers are out there still eager for hours. We don't think we'll see many splashy hiring announcements anymore. There'll be more last-minute, more precision hiring additions. So if you design your seasonal programs as year-round talent pipelines and make conversion the goal, though, you'll exit January with a stronger team and a lower Q1 churn, even in a slower seasonal cycle. That's it for the Workplace Minute today. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about your seasonal hiring needs and plans, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 HR Advisors.